Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Inside the Den. Now don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube. Also remember, follow me on twitch.tv/MMODen. That is where I live stream almost every single day. I know you guys want to come and check that out. But either way, today we're going to check out Card Hunter. And this is a really interesting take on a trading card type game that I think you guys are really going to like. So let's get started. As you can see, I'm in what they call the campaign mode right now. Now we can switch over to the multiplayer mode where I can actually go and take on other players. And as you can see right there, there's my little guide. He guides me around little things. And the game is heavily, it's got a heavy influence from the old school like D&D, stuff like that. I mean, the premium currency of the game is pizza slices, which is pretty awesome. You can see here, hey, let's try a multiplayer game. Come on, guy. And don't worry, I will be your first opponent. All right. So it wants me to click on there. Seeking, click to cancel. Uh-oh. We're going to have to turn that down a little bit because that's really loud. So there we go. Turn that down just a little bit so you guys can still hear me. Now, the way multiplayer battles work, as you can see, each player's on each side. Now, this is going to kind of give you guys an introduction to the game, but you're going to be like, what the hell? There's a lot going on here that really doesn't make sense. So I'm going to get into some of this stuff a little bit later, but let's kind of go ahead and move our guys around. Now you see I'm using these different cards down here in the bottom next to each of my characters, and that's one of the things about the game. That's an interesting card, so all of a sudden placed me right here, so I can take a big whack. But basically, the way it works is you get different characters. You first start out with just one, you get to pick one, and then you slowly earn different ones. And the way you get different cards is by actually equipping those characters with equipment, and those pieces of equipment actually have cards on them. So now I'm going to go ahead and wail on this guy for a nice 6 attack. It's got 1 range, so we're going to go ahead and hit him. Oh, he's got a block, but he failed his block. So I went ahead and did 6 points of damage, which really probably hurt him pretty good. So he had about 20, what do you have, 21. I took him down to 15. So now I'm going to take him down to another 5. At least that time his block worked, so he didn't take any damage, which really sucks. Because I'm sitting there, I'm trying to do some damage to this guy. So there we go. That time it got through, but he actually did a little bit of damage back to me. So now I can take and I'm going to start to work on some of my other characters. Now it's very difficult. This character is way off over here. So we're going to actually look at doing something with this character right here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move them to right here, putting ourselves in a position to attack and also heal. We're going to go ahead and get a weak chop on him, a little 2 damage, and we will go ahead and heal this guy up for the little bit of damage that he took. And it looks like he got a little help out of that too. Now you see some of my guys are down to pretty much nothing at all as far as attack cards. This guy way over here, he has a bunch, but he's so far away he can't do anything. And this guy obviously can walk or move or do whatever. But we're going to go ahead and pass. Now they're going to start moving around, and let's see what they do. Actually, they're going to turn to face me. I'm going to go ahead and pass again. And what you have to have is, you see right there, it says Gary passed, I passed. That means we can actually move on to the next turn, which means he doesn't have any more, he doesn't have any cards that he really wants to use. Now, if you want to do that and you want to move on to the next turn, you can only go on with 2 cards. So I have to look here and see which cards I want to keep. So I'm going to you can also right-click on the cards, bring them up, see what's going on. I'm actually going to discard this card right there. And you see, I still have 2 left. And now I bring up a bunch more cards. Now I also got this spiked mail, and the spiked mail is armor. So your characters can have armor, they can have blocking, they can have parries, they can have dodges, stuff like that. So there's also defensive cards as well, and those will come with whether you have armor equipped on your guy, or sometimes some will come on boots, or a shield, or a helm, or things like that. And then most of your attack cards will actually come right from the character's weapons and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attack this guy, take him down a little bit, and now he actually took that damage, but he actually healed himself for 6 in response to the damage that I did to him. But then he also, that was weird. He took some damage. So some of the cards are really kind of like, they're really kind of weird. But it's really cool the way that they're laid out, because they really do actually give the game some depth. So that's the one thing that I have to say, is the game does have some pretty decent depth that comes directly from the different cards that are available. Now I could do Healing Bless, or I'm actually going to move this guy a little bit. Get him over here. Make this guy chase me around a little. So he's going to go ahead and try and do that to me. Now I'm going to see if my Spiked Mail will actually do anything. Oh, he's throwing a bunch of stuff at me, and I actually failed my Spiked Mail, so I took a nice swat of damage. It took 8 points of damage. Isn't as much as I really want to take. Now you see right here, as I'm highlighting over these cards right here, I've got a Long Spark and a Dissolve Armor spell. You see damage of 1, and then you've got a range of 10. But you see when I highlight over, you see on the board some of the squares are turning red. That's where I can actually cast that spell, because even though the board is flat, you have to remember some of these little squares are actual terrain, or that are pillars or walls or things like that. You can't cast through walls or any of that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and move this guy over to here. Make these, like I said, I'm going to make these guys chase me around a bit. Now this Healing Blessing, target heals for 2 each round. Now I don't have a lot of rounds left, to be honest with you. So I'm going to kind of hold on to that one. And then I'm going to move this guy over here, kind of put a block that way. That guy's going to move to there. And then I'm going to basically have to pass. I'm going to save that Healing Blessing till next turn, when I have basically full rounds to be healing my character up. Now he's casting heals on him. Now he's back to full life. So it's all a bunch of different strategy and structure. Now the game not only has this multiplayer option, but it also has a full campaign where you can go in, and it's really set up cool, like almost like, you know, modules in the old D&D and stuff like that, which is really pretty cool when you see that style, the module type style. So I'm going to actually move this guy this way a little bit. I have a feeling that we want to keep moving him and move him to right there. Now, in some of the games, controlling these different squares is actually very, very important. So, see, he moved me off of it. So, controlling the squares is actually very important. You actually get these stars up here. You see up here the stars. Whoever controls those will actually get stars and actually be able to win just by taking control of those. You don't even have to kill your opponent. So now, did he move into range for me? This guy did. This guy actually moved into range for me. Oh, he didn't. It only looks like that. It's deceptive. So let's go ahead and close that out. We're going to go ahead and pass. He passes. We're going to go ahead and get rid of some different stuff here. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get rid of the long range stuff with the thought process that I'm actually going to try and move these guys onto some of these squares and let them do damage that way, and really try and take over. So we're going to move you. Oh, okay. So we actually got this Talented Healer. So you see, this is actually a trait. So you attach this card, it lasts for three turns. Whenever you play a heal card, add a cantrip to that card and heal 2 to yourself, which is kind of cool if you go ahead and do that. So we can go ahead and use that. That's going to add that to this character. Now, not only do you have things like traits that actually bless you, you also have things like hexes and stuff like that. Now, I don't feel any of these guys are going to be able to get to this square, so I'm going to move this guy first. Get him onto that square. Make them have to make a maneuver on me. Now the cool thing is I can actually take and I can actually cast a spell on this guy, do some damage first. So I'm going to take and actually, no valid targets. He's too far away. Damn it. So I'm going to take and actually, let's see, we'll move this guy here. Now we've got control of 3 of those squares like I mentioned. And I'm going to take and I'm going to smack this guy right here. Give him a little hurt. And he actually did some damage back to me, big jerk. But I actually healed up a little bit because of my cantrip. Now we can take and can we reach anybody with this or this? Let's see with this Wall of Fire. Target 3 adjacent squares become lava terrain at the start of each round. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast this. And I can actually take and cast this here, here, and we'll cast it there. I'm gonna put a Wall of Fire up in front of this guy right there, so he's gonna be able to stay in position. If this guy moves onto that Wall of Fire, he's going to actually not like life too much. So there we go. Now this guy actually cast one on my dwarf, big jerk. So I'm gonna have to just kind of sit there and eat that for a bit. Now we're gonna go ahead and we can cast Healing Blessing. Can we cast it on ourselves? We cannot. So we're going to go ahead and let that fly. We're going to go ahead and pass. I'm going to happily sit on this lava because I know it's going to be worthwhile in the end. So let's go ahead and pass. He passes. And see, there we go. Because I control all that space, I went ahead and I earned a star. Now you see that can take a little bit. So what I'm actually going to do is I need to go ahead and discard some stuff. So I'm going to discard this one first. Then with this guy, we'll discard that bash. Then with you, we're going to go ahead and discard that run. Because I'm perfectly content sitting right there where I am. So let's go ahead and see what we're going to get. Arcane feedback. The start of each round to take 1 point of arcane damage. Interesting. There's a little trade he's got. I went ahead and used my spike mail, but that's not going to last me very long. So I'm actually going to sneak up behind him, but I need this. Obvious maneuver. Reveal your hand when playing against the game master. Big jerk. So he's actually going to be able to see my hand, but I can actually move pretty far now. So I'm going to move over to here. So you can see there's a lot of different spells and options and things like that that are going on. So now we're going to take and let's see, can we hit him from here? We can't. Damn it. We're going to take and we're going to smack him pretty hard. So there we go. We smacked him for 4. He's going to try and hit me back. I actually did take a little bit of damage. And let's go ahead and I want to keep control of at least 2 of these squares. But it may be worthwhile to make a maneuver and get myself in range to attack this guy. So I'm going to take that chance. He's going to move over there. I'm going to see it was worthwhile to take that chance. I'm going to go ahead and blast him. He's going to move him off of there. Now I'm going to go ahead and go for the kill on him. Get a blast off. 1 down. So because of that, because we actually killed the guy, we got 2 stars for that. So you see, it's much more worthwhile to actually get that kill sometimes. And we got that spell through. We can't cast that one quite yet. Let's go ahead and move him over to here with a nice little sprint. Go right there. Get ourselves back on those two squares. And we're going to go ahead and let's see. He doesn't have a lot of cards left. So once again, I'm going to pass on doing any healing because he passed. I got another star because I controlled 2 locations. He's only got 2 left. So now I got to get rid of a bunch of spells. So we'll get rid of that one. We'll get rid of that one. And you know what? We'll get rid of the extra heal. So now, to make sure that we take and we win this, we want to do a bunch of damage. Now he's doing a little flimsy block, which was basically garbage. Now we want to take and we want to do some damage to this guy. Boiling armor. So target's character discards all armor. So let's go ahead and use that on him. So that one went through. Now we're going to go ahead and we need to get close now. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to dash and put him into position to be able to do some damage. And of course he's going to bash me a bit and knock me back. So that didn't do too much. But let's go ahead and heal him up. I did even some healing to myself. Let's cast that healing blessing. Get him start healing himself. Now see, he's on that one, but still I have more spots than him. So now I can choose to go after this guy and try and get some damage in on him, or I can stay where I am, which is probably going to be more advantageous if I just stay where I am. Let's see what this Martyr's Blessing is. Whenever a target takes damage from an enemy card, character draws a card. So we're going to go ahead and put that on that guy right there, and let's see what he does. Gary passed, so I'm going to pass as well. That should get us through. I control victory location, so I just need 1 more star. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that flimsy block and my walk. Let's see what we get here. I would love to take 1 more of these guys out, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So instead, uh-oh, look at that. He tried to make, see, every elf may move 2 more squares, ignores encumbrance, so we're going to go ahead and do that. That's going to allow me to move freely to there, and he's going to move off of there. I'm going to use my dash and get to here. Let him start whacking on me. That's fine. I'm going to just move right back onto that spot. Uh-oh. Cone of acid on me. Big jerk. Now, he dropped some acid down on the ground, so that's no bueno. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to bash the crap out of him. And he failed on his block, but his toughness took some of it. But that at least knocked him back. So let's see. How's this going to play out? As long as I control 2 squares, I'm okay. So we're gonna kind of leave this alone. We're gonna go ahead and we'll use this. We can get him like that. Basically, use our own acid spray, and he blocked it, but he still is sitting on it, discarding their oldest card. What is this? Whenever an enemy is in front of you, plays a magic or projectile card, you draw a card. Nah, I'm just gonna take and you know what? I'm just gonna whack on him, get a good shot in on him, get some damage. He's gonna back off a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and use that, do some damage there. Gary passed. I'm gonna pass, and because I control the victory location, I went in and won. So that's basically how you get through a multiplayer game. And there's your rating on that. Now, you see right there it says chest bonus. So let's get out of here. You see you open your chest. This happens at the end of every single match. And you can get, as you see, blues and purple items. Now, this is if you want to go ahead and become part of their club, spend some pizza or, monthly stuff like that. You can get some pretty cool stuff. Now, I did get some decent stuff here. You see they're level 14, 15, level 13. I can't even use any of that stuff. We're just going to take all and finish. The rank match button will always try to match you against players with similar ratings. So it does have stuff that's pretty set up like that. But you'd see you can go ahead and go through and play a lot of ranked matches. And this happens every single day. You can go in there and play a lot of these ranked matches. So it's pretty cool stuff there. And actually, you can get a lot of really good loot out of all of these. And the more you win, obviously, the better you do. You can see leaderboards, chest shop, all of these different things. The armory where you can spend money, sell things, all that stuff. But let's get over to the campaign. I want to get here really quick. Now, in the campaign, you got a bunch of different things going on here. You got the armory, you got the Orc's Head Tavern where you can hire more heroes to help you out. You got the chest and barrel where you can purchase chests, random chests to open stuff. You've got costuming where you can actually get, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. You can see different costumes for your dwarf or for, your wizard, stuff like that, kind of a Princess Leia style. So you can see you've got a lot of cool stuff. I actually got one of these for my priest, as you can see there. I kind of got that one as a freebie. He gave it to me. But I want to go through some of these campaigns. We're going to go through a low level one, but you can complete these each and every day. Now, if you go through a low level one, you see all my guys are level 6. So we're going to go ahead and jump in here, and I'm going to do this because I can go through it really quick and also show you guys a bunch of stuff. Now, you see here on my characters, this is your character sheet, and you can see these are all the different cards that I have available to me, and these cards all come from the different items that I'm using. You can right-click on an item, you can see all the different cards that that item presents, you can go into your inventory, you can also see the items that those items present as well, and see if it's maybe advantageous to equip different items and change things out, and then different characters have different items available to them. So you can see this is like an elf skill here, an unskilled elf, and when you have something, and every time you level up, there's different ones that open up. So it's kind of cool way to structure your cards and the way the cards work, and actually getting cards for different things and stuff like that. So I think it's a really neat system. It changes things up, it makes it really dynamic and things of that nature. So you see right now we're going into the Streets of Omelette. So not omelet, maybe we could call it, we'll call it omelet, why not? So you see all the different boards are different. Sometimes there's going to be different terrain things that you're going to have to watch out for. Sometimes it's going to be, who knows what you're going to have to look out for. So we're going to let him move into space, and we're going to blast away on him. Go ahead and put a nice little hurt on him. He's going to be like, oh my god, I just took a big bunch of damage. Now we can highlight him. He needs 2 more damage. We're going to go ahead and hit him for that 2 damage, because as soon as he's dead, there we go, we have 1. And we're going to go ahead and hit this guy for that 6 damage, call it a day. And we move onward, collect our loot, open our chest. We got a pickled herring, which is basically an item that we can just sell and get gold for. And we have completed that little area. Now, as you move up to these different areas and they get higher and more higher level and more difficult, you can see the map gets pretty large as you move around it. You can open up all kinds of different monsters that you can fight, stuff like that as well. But I'll let you guys do that on your own. You can see here's ones that I've never done. But you can see, for example, because I've done that one already, it's got a little it had a little hourglass on it. That means that you can't actually go and do that one again today. So you'll be able to do that again tomorrow, but not today. So the game is still in a little bit of closed beta right now. So if you write these guys, they're pretty good about handing out some closed beta keys, but they're still testing the game. So I expect to see a lot more features coming out of the game in the future. But so far, I have to say I'm pretty addicted with the game. I expect that you guys will be too once you get your hands on it, especially this is the type of game that really tickles your fancy. It's also playable right in the browser, which I know a lot of you guys will like to hear. You don't have to download a client. It's playable right in the browser. You can play it anywhere. I expect we're probably going to also see a mobile version of this in the future when the game gets closer to its live release. Either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's trip inside the den. Once again, don't forget to subscribe and keep yourself updated as each new episode is released. Also, please comment and like this video, as I really, really appreciate that feedback. Now, if you'd like to play or learn more about Card Hunter, you can check out the full game profile at MMODen.com or just click the link down in the description. Now, guys, till next time, thanks for